Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Birla. Some of you may know me from my years at Ripple.
Guys, is a
where I helped
tokenization
grab
company. We reported that it is going public through a SPAC, a trend we
Money
haven't.
should be like emails or text. A billion a second, all free.
Hey there,
And
future
what we
millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here with me again. I genuinely hope you're crushing it today, no matter where you're tuning in from around this amazing world of ours. All right, let's dive into something absolutely huge today. We're talking XRP, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. So I came across some incredible insights from digital perspectives, and here's what's got me fired up. Evernorth is apparently planning to scoop up all the XRP from retail exchanges. I mean, can you believe that? We're living in some seriously exciting times right now. So let me break down their strategy for you. You've got to hear what Evernorth is planning.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Birla. Some of you may know me from my years at Ripple, where I helped Brad and the team bring blockchain to the real-world payments. But today, I want to share more about Evernorth, a new kind of company built to provide institutional investors and public markets with exposure to XRP. Think of it as a publicly traded XRP treasury that gives investors simple, regulated, and liquid exposure to XRP. But with a twist, we aim to collectively grow our XRP holdings, and what we generate from the treasury will be used to purchase more XRP for the treasury. We've built an incredible team of leaders from crypto, capital markets, and finance. People who have been at the forefront of innovation, regulation, and risk management for years. Together, we're committed to building something enduring for the long term. And we're backed by a world-class group of investors and leaders, including SBI, Ripple, Arrington Capital, Pantera Capital, and Kraken, firms that share our conviction in XRP's future. So why now? For the first time, XRP has clear regulatory standing in the United States, opening the door for large-scale adoption. Evernorth is positioned to be the trusted, transparent bridge to the public markets. This is just the beginning, and I couldn't be more excited to build this together with the community at every turn. Follow along. We're excited for what's ahead.
Okay, so did you catch what he just revealed in that clip? First off, he straight up confirmed that XRP adoption is happening. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But here's the kicker, and this is exactly what I've been telling you guys this whole time. You need to make this your strategy too. Don't just sit on your XRP and hope for the best. Put that crypto to work for you. Here's how the smart money does it. You generate passive income from your XRP holdings, then take a portion of those earnings and buy even more XRP. Rinse and repeat. That's literally Evernorth's playbook right there. Think about it. As long as they keep printing money from this strategy, they're just going to keep stacking more and more XRP. Can you see the bigger picture here? Over time, they're positioning themselves to own a massive chunk of this entire cryptocurrency market. And honestly, that should be your wake-up call right there. All right, this is huge news that just dropped. Rex Osprey just announced something incredible. Their XRP ETF has officially crossed the $100 million mark in assets under management as of October 23, 2025. Let me put this in perspective for you. We're talking about XRPR, which made history as the very first US ETF to give regular investors direct exposure to XRP. Think about how massive that is. And get this, you can actually see exactly what they're holding in real time. I'm looking at their portfolio right here, and the numbers are absolutely mind-blowing. This isn't just some random milestone, folks. This is institutional money flooding into XRP like we've never seen before. When you've got $100 million flowing through the first-ever XRP ETF in the US, you know something big is happening in this space. ... Now here's why I'm absolutely bullish on these spot ETFs. And this is the part that gets me really excited. Unlike those sketchy paper contracts, spot ETFs actually have to hold the real deal. They're literally buying and storing actual XRP tokens. So what does this mean for us? Well, think about it. Every single dollar that flows into these ETFs means more XRP gets locked up and taken off the market for the long haul. We're talking about potentially years of XRP just sitting there, completely out of circulation. Can you see the beautiful supply squeeze that's building here? As more and more XRP disappears from the exchanges, basic economics tells us what happens next. When demand stays strong but supply gets tighter and tighter, prices have nowhere to go but up. This is literally a textbook case of supply and demand working in our favor, and it's happening right before our eyes. Researcher on XRP ETF. They didn't delay the launch. They are repositioning for what's coming. Okay, so I just came across this really interesting article, and I've got to be upfront with you. It's pretty speculative stuff, but they're claiming that the ETF delays we've been seeing, that's all been intentional. They're suggesting the plan was always to launch these bad boys on November 6th. But here's my take on what's actually happening behind the scenes, and this might not be what you want to hear. I think this government shutdown is throwing a major wrench into the XRP ETF timeline. The big questions everyone's asking: how long is this delay going to drag on? Can they somehow push these approvals through even while the government's basically frozen? Honestly, we're all just guessing at this point. From everything I've been reading, and I'm talking about insights from Eleanor Tourette and other industry insiders, the consensus seems to be no government, no ETFs. It's that simple. And get this, the government was supposed to reopen by Friday. Didn't happen. Now everyone's pushing their predictions to the first week of November. But I'm seeing some folks saying we could be stuck like this until Thanksgiving. Here's what I'm banking on, though. Once this government mess gets sorted out, I think we're going to see some serious bullish momentum for crypto across the board. But until then, we're basically in limbo waiting for a clear launch date on these ETFs. Look, I'm going to be real with you here. I think everyone's getting way too caught up in trying to predict exact dates. It's happening on this day. No, it's definitely that day. Come on, people. These things are going to launch when they're ready to launch, period. But here's some news that's actually worth getting excited about, and this is happening right now. Securitize is about to go public through a SPAC deal, and they're getting some serious backing from Cantor Fitzgerald to make it happen. Now here's the part that should grab your attention. Securitize has already integrated Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin directly into their platform. What does this mean? Well, investors can now trade their tokenized fund shares straight into RLUSD without jumping through a bunch of hoops. This is the kind of real-world adoption we've been waiting for. While everyone else is arguing about ETF dates, actual companies are building with XRP ecosystem tools right now. Let me play this clip for you so you can hear it straight from the source.
Securitize is a tokenization company. We reported that it is going public through a SPAC, a trend we haven't seen in a long time. The deal will value Securitize at over $1 billion, and it will be listed in the public market after.
And what's the benefit of Securitize going public versus staying private?
So it definitely is about gathering capital with a listed vehicle. They have a lot more flexibility in raising equity. The interesting thing about Securitize is that it actually is a vehicle or a company that is trying to turn e-liquid asset in the traditional sense. For instance, think of like the KKR private equity fund or some sort of private equity fund that usually you cannot trade like a liquid asset. And with the tokenization, you can trade the exposure of these assets. So for this kind of company to go public in the traditional way, in a traditional equity market, that is giving a lot of testament to us how they think about the equity that will be available to them.
And you mentioned this would be through a SPAC, those special purpose acquisition companies, a SPAC that was started actually by Cantor Fitzgerald, which has a vested interest in the development of the crypto industry.
So Cantor is a very interesting company right now. It's at a very critical spot within the crypto industry. They really have built out the crypto investment banking coverage team. And with Howard Lutnick being in the administration and Cantor Fitzgerald, the investment bank being run by his son, this particular SPAC, it actually counts Brandon Lutnick, the son of Howard Lutnick, as the CEO and chairman. The company, Cantor, is also very close to Tether, and so there is a lot of their exposure to crypto that Cantor is in right now. They've actually raised 4 SPACs, and number 1 has already announced a deal. This we are expecting some sort of announcement in the near future, and we could see the remaining 2 potentially also going into something in the crypto world, but we haven't heard much on those yet.
Now, you mentioned that
And you know what? This is just the beginning. We're about to see a wave of companies like this going public over the next few months. It's like dominoes falling, one after another, boom, boom, boom. It's the exact same pattern we're seeing with banking licenses too. First, Ripple steps up and applies for their banking license. Then what happens? Crypto.com jumps in and does the same thing. Now we've got others following suit left and right. This is crypto finally hitting its stride, people. We're watching the industry mature right before our eyes. And here's what I'm really excited about. All these companies that are building cool stuff on the XRP Ledger, I have a strong feeling they're going to keep riding this wave and going public one by one. We're literally witnessing the mainstream adoption phase happening in real time. This isn't some distant future scenario anymore. It's happening now, and the momentum is only building. Okay, this next story is absolutely epic. And yes, that pun was totally intended. We're talking about Epic, the real-world asset network that's built on XRP, and they just hit a massive milestone. Are you ready for this? Epic has officially joined Apple's developer program. Now let me put this in perspective for you. We're talking about Apple here, the company that powers over 1.5 billion active devices around the globe. That's not just big, that's massive. What this means is Epic now has direct access to one of the most powerful consumer ecosystems on the entire planet. Think about that for a second. Your iPhone, your iPad, your MacBook. Epic could potentially reach every single one of those devices. And here's what gets me really excited. Epic isn't just playing around with theory. They're laser-focused on real solutions. Payments that actually work, liquidity that flows smoothly, and user experiences that don't make you want to throw your phone across the room. They're literally building the future of finance apps. Apps designed to handle serious scale while being simple enough for your grandmother to use. And the cherry on top? It's all powered by real-world assets running on the XRP Ledger. I am seriously curious to see how this plays out moving forward. This could be huge. And okay, am I the only one who thinks this guy sounds exactly like Brad Garlinghouse? Like, it's almost uncanny. You've got to hear this for yourself.
Money should be like emails or texts. $1 billion a second, all free. And what we really need to do to fix the payment system is then we can have, consumer demand payments and consumer demand receipts. In other words, I shouldn't get paid every 2 weeks or every month. I should get paid every minute. And we can agree on the price, and every minute money goes into my account. My mortgage should not be a monthly payment. It should be every minute you take money out of my account for my mortgage. Netflix should not be a monthly subscription. It should be, I start watching a movie, and every minute you take a penny or two or whatever the price is going to be of a particular movie. That's the system we need. They had the capability to do that 30 years ago. Yep. And really what I think is strangling the digital economy is the payment system.
And you know what? He's absolutely right. Our current payment system is honestly a complete mess. Everyone's walking around acting like everything's perfectly fine. Oh, SWIFT works great. No problems here. But here's the reality check. Try sending money across borders and suddenly it's a nightmare. Want to make tiny payments? Good luck with that. There's so much friction and so many fees that it's basically impossible to do micropayments efficiently. That's literally why we're all stuck getting paid once a week, every 2 weeks, or once a month. It's not because that's the best way to do it. It's because our payment rails are stuck in the Stone Age. But here's the exciting part. All of that is about to change. Innovation is finally catching up, and we're going to see payment systems that actually make sense for how people want to live and work in the modern world. Imagine getting paid instantly for every task you complete, or being able to send a few cents to someone across the world without paying more in fees than the actual payment itself. That's the future we're heading toward. Seriously though, that guy's voice was like Brad Garlinghouse's twin or something. It was wild. All right, let's switch gears and dive into some price predictions. We're at the 1024 mark here, and I've got updates on all the big players for you. We're talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP of course, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, Hyperliquid, Chainlink, and Stellar. Time to see what the charts are telling us. So I just finished reading this article, and guess what? The only crypto they're calling bullish is Bitcoin. Everything else? According to them, we're headed straight into bear market territory. And honestly, this drives me absolutely crazy. They always pull this same move, write these hit pieces trashing altcoins while pushing the Bitcoin narrative like it's the only game in town. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for the day when this Bitcoin hype train finally runs out of steam. When people stop acting like Bitcoin is the beginning and end of crypto, and we actually start having real conversations about the incredible projects that are out there. Take Stellar, for example. XLM is an amazing cryptocurrency with tons of real-world utility. It's incredibly similar to XRP in what it can do. Or look at XDC. When digital trade really takes off, they're going to have to talk about it. And don't even get me started on quant. There's way less QNT in circulation than Bitcoin, and I've always said I look at quant as my Bitcoin. Why? Because I genuinely believe it's going to absolutely crush Bitcoin's performance once it really gets moving. But here's the thing. Right now, it's still all about that first mover advantage. Bitcoin got there first, and everyone who's invested in it has every reason to keep that narrative alive. But mark my words, eventually that whole belief system around Bitcoin is going to crumble. Now, here's where things get really interesting. I just saw this headline that made me do a double take. Swift CIO explains why 12,000 banks will not be using a volatile bank-themed magic bean as a bridge currency, despite what XRP TikTok patriots told you. Okay, first off, magic bean? Really? That's some serious shade right there. But here's what's got me scratching my head. Why is a Swift chief innovation officer even bothering to talk about this stuff on Twitter in the first place? Think about it for a second. If XRP wasn't a real threat to their business model, would they even waste their time addressing it? When was the last time you saw a major company's CIO hop on social media to debunk something that wasn't worth worrying about? This feels like someone's getting a little nervous about the competition, if you ask me. That I don't understand. And why is this guy suddenly throwing shade at XRP? Well, here's the thing. He's their chief innovation officer, which is honestly pretty ironic when you think about it. Let's be real here. What innovation has Swift actually delivered lately? We're talking about a system that's over 50 years old, and it's completely falling apart. It desperately needs major upgrades just to function in today's world. And here's the kicker. Guess who owns the patents for those exact upgrades Swift needs? That's right, Ripple. But wait, it gets even better. Ripple isn't just sitting around waiting for Swift to get their act together. They're building a complete alternative that could make Swift totally obsolete. And they're already connected to Swift through tons of different companies and partnerships. They're basically playing chess while Swift is playing checkers. Here's what really gets me, though. If you're going to trash talk a cryptocurrency, at least do your homework first. This guy literally calls XRP magic beans. Magic beans! I mean, come on. If you're going to throw around FUD, at least make it educated FUD. Calling a legitimate financial technology magic beans just makes you look like you have no idea what you're talking about. And the timing here is absolutely wild. Right as we're watching Ripple expand, grow, and actually connect with Swift's network, this guy comes out swinging with the magic beans comments. It just doesn't add up, you know? But speaking of timing that's not a coincidence, check this out. Donald Trump just selected Michael Celig as the new CFTC chair, and guess what? This guy is a huge Bitcoin and crypto supporter. Now, I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to moves like this. There's definitely something bigger happening behind the scenes here. Now, I've got a theory about who might be behind this appointment, and I think it could be Stuart Alderati pulling some strings here. Why do I say that? Well, if you followed the Ripple versus SEC case closely, you'd remember that Stuart was constantly praising Michael Celig throughout that whole legal battle. He wasn't just giving him casual shoutouts either. We're talking multiple public commendations from Ripple's top legal guy. That kind of repeated recognition doesn't happen by accident, especially during such a high-stakes case. So when I see Trump appointing the exact same guy that Ripple's legal team was championing, that feels like way more than just a happy coincidence to me. He's the lawyer that said XRP did not look like a security at all. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Michael Celig made a key observation during the case. He pointed out that there's no common relationship between Ripple and the people buying XRP on exchanges. And then he dropped this bombshell. Quote, I don't think XRP ultimately is still deemed in these types of transactions to be a non-security. Wait, did you catch that? He's basically saying XRP should not be considered a security in these transactions. This is huge coming from someone who's now about to chair the CFTC. He was pushing for clarity for XRP during the Ripple vs. SEC case. Now he's becoming the chair at the CFTC. Like I said, I really don't think any of this is happening by accident. That's just my take on the whole situation, but the pieces are definitely connecting in some interesting ways. Now, speaking of people who are absolutely bullish on what's coming, crypto millionaire Gordon just made a bold prediction. XRP is going to send, and nothing will stop it. When someone who's made millions in crypto drops a statement like that, you've got to pay attention. So Gordon's looking at the technical analysis and says this is an absolutely perfect move up from the right shoulder. XRP is going to send and nothing will stop it. Do you get what he's saying here? Listen, everyone is talking about XRP catalysts right now. Price predictions are flying left and right, and when you actually look at XRP's chart, it's absolutely mind-blowing. I honestly don't understand how anyone could be bearish on this thing. Just look at the heavyweight names showing up to Ripple swell this time around. That alone should tell you everything you need to know. You're not gambling here, folks. You already bought the winning lottery ticket, and now you're just waiting for those numbers to get called. But here's what I want to warn you about. People are going to start calling the top way too early when XRP really starts its breakout. Every single time we see even the tiniest pullback, you're going to hear, "That's it, the top is in," only to watch it rocket even higher the next week. Here's my theory on what's really going to kick everything into high gear. It's all about when this government reopens. I genuinely think that's going to be the green light signal for the entire crypto market. Think about it logically. While the government's shut down and all we're getting is occasional talks about tariffs and diplomatic meetings, it creates uncertainty that crashes markets. We've seen this exact pattern with Bitcoin multiple times, but the moment that government reopens, boom! We're back on track for ETFs, regulatory clarity, the whole 9 yards. That's when I think we'll get the signal to buckle up because we're about to take off like a rocket. Until that happens, though, here's what I need from you. Stay patient. Stay positive, and let's build this wealth together. All right, everyone, that's where I'm going to wrap things up for today. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this incredible community. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'll catch you in the next video. Have an awesome night, future millionaires.